morning. Good morning. Jennifer coming to you guys live. We are here today for episode 3 of our January live series, New Year, New You. This is our episode about peak productivity and performance. So I'm here with Tony Scullion. I've never said it out loud, so Tony will correct me if I said it wrong.
That's correct.
Is it good? Okay, Tony Scullion. And I met him through the Growth Academy. He is just an amazing, in peak physical fitness, and he is just going to be here to teach us how to do and be the same. So welcome, Tony. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody, for listening as well.
Yes. And please, guys, as we are chatting today, leave your comments in the chat if there's a question you have for myself or for Tony. We are talking about health, wellness, fitness, productivity. Any and all of those are great topics to bring up. So without further ado, let's take it away. And for those of you who don't know Tony, I would love the opportunity for you to get to know him better. So Tony, if you'll tell us a little bit more about how you got started on your journey in fitness and what that has looked like for you over the past, I think, 25 years.
Yes, so I've actually been coaching 25 years, but I've been involved in fitness for over 30. And unfortunately, it was getting bullied as a teenager that forced me into the world of martial arts to defend myself. And then I just fell in love with fitness after that. It changed my life completely. So it helped me with all the struggles I went through with my own fitness journey. It helped me help everybody I've coached along the way.
That's amazing. I know personally it has been a struggle during COVID. So that was going to be my next question. How has COVID changed how you run your business and how you work with your clients? And have you noticed any positive or negative shifts or changes? I know, we often think that everything out of COVID is negative, but I can definitely say there have been some positives in my career and my workflow. So how has it been for you in that regard?
Well, it forced me to push more online. So because I lost a lot of my in-house people here in Dubai, and what happened then, I focused more on my online network, especially here on LinkedIn, and which happened by accident at the same time as COVID, because I lost access to 10 years of my Facebook accounts. So forced, instead of rebuilding Facebook, I was pushed towards LinkedIn. And to be honest, I haven't looked back since. I've increased my network on LinkedIn dramatically here over the last 6 months with the help of Growth Academy and everybody else that's in it, and the amazing people that connect with me every single day. And I've made some amazing connections with people, especially on LinkedIn here in the United States, in the UK, and in Europe.
That's amazing. I feel like many people think that LinkedIn is limited, and myself included. Before I started with Growth Academy, before I started working at Google, I would say that I wouldn't have thought people like personal trainers or fitness specialists would be using LinkedIn. But it has been insanely successful for you, right? So no matter really what field you come from, networking on LinkedIn is definitely going to help give you a leg up, I'd say. Would you agree?
Absolutely. The key to people getting results with their fitness is mindset first, and then nutrition, and then exercise. And I think because of the circumstances with COVID, everybody was basing their fitness goals purely on exercise. And now it's actually helping more people realize that by addressing the deeper components of mindset and nutrition, then exercise is a very small component, a very small part of getting those results. Of course, it magnifies it, but if you don't have the other 2 parts in line first, then exercise will not work.
Right. Yeah, you can run 3 miles a day, but if you're eating terrible foods for you, it's not going to help. You're not going to reach that calorie deficit, that place where you are burning those fats and doing those things. So that is a great point. Now, to lean on what you said, starting with the mindset, what would you say that takes? Is it about getting to a mental place where you're ready, or is there more to it than that?
If you think you're going to wait until you're ready, you'll probably never get there. Because think about COVID. COVID happened in the blink of an eye. And basically it was either fight or flight syndrome for us. And I'm sure everybody that's listening to this, we all had our down moments, but you reach that point where you says, I'm not going to sit and accept being like this. I need to find a different approach, a different way to improve my life. And like for me, coming on to LinkedIn and developing my network here away from 10 years of Facebook background after losing an account, that was a big like shock to the system as well. So I think regarding fitness and health, it has to be, will the end goal really make you happy? Think about why it will make you happy. And don't just think about the exercise and boring nutrition and all these sort of things, because there's ways around that. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. You don't have to be eating chicken and broccoli diets all the time. The bottom line is having the mindset of I want to change, and try to imagine the person that you will be in the future. And the more you can imagine that person, the more dedicated you're going to be to do whatever it's needed to get there. So that needs to be the first point for you to manage, is imagine the happier person in the future.
I love that. And I feel like that applies to not only fitness, but, job seekers out there, if you're listening as well, that applies to, your job search and everything in your life. These are all building blocks, right? If you set yourself up with a nice, solid foundation, you're only going to make it that much easier to add in the other pieces. And I see some comments here from Mark. Good morning, Mark. He says, Tony will kick your arse. He is pretty tough, Mark. He is pretty tough. But if you have any comments, guys, any questions, please drop them in the chat. Tony, I'm sure, would be happy to take your fitness questions. I'll be asking him some here in a little bit as well. But moving on from the mindset a little bit and into the physical part. So this New Year, New You series really is meant to be, an overlook at ways to better yourself for the new year. So I definitely wanted to focus a couple episodes really on your physical fitness, being your best self physically, because that so affects how you live your day-to-day life and how you perform mentally. So what would you say for those of us out there working from home who are maybe feeling a little unmotivated? What advice would you have for us? And this is for me directly, guys. So lay it on us, Tony.
Okay, so the first thing you need to do is working something that is achievable for you on day one.
Okay.
And then aim to improve that over, let's say, the next 30 days. So you don't have to necessarily do it every day, but you could do it every second day. So let's put a challenge out there. You do 20 squats, 20 push-ups, either from your feet or from your knees, and then lie on your back and do 20 V-ups. And what a V-up is you gently touch the floor behind you and then reach up to touch your feet. Don't force it because you'll hurt your back. Now, if you can achieve 20 on day one, then the next time you try that, you try to achieve 21, then 22, and then 23. So it's that self of fulfillment. And it's the same in a job search or in marketing or whatever area you're in online here. It's when you get that daily sense of fulfillment, you're going to push to the next level. And even if on the first day your baseline that you set yourself you don't achieve, then work at it till you can achieve it. Because sometimes we are very unrealistic with setting ourselves goals. I'm as bad as this at anybody, and whenever you don't achieve it, then that's okay. But work from the level that you do achieve and aim to improve that for the next 30 days.
No, I love that. I think that when it comes to goal setting, and this is something I tell my fiance all the time because it's something I'm really guilty of, he's really guilty of. But when we set goals sometimes or ideas of what we're gonna fit in our day, we have this picture of our best selves in mind, right? Like the best Tony who's got the best energy, he slept great, he feels great, he's gonna do everything in just the amount of time that he needs to do things in. And we tend to set ourselves up that way in our head that we're going to perform optimally all the time. And I think it's so important to kind of temper that expectation with the fact that who's like that? Who's on 100% all the time? Like I'm rarely like that.
Not even me.
Yeah. So you really have to approach it from, what can I bite off a bite you can actually chew. And I think that was a video I did for New Year's was, make a resolution you can actually keep, something small, because as you win big over and over again, it's really going to push you forward to keep achieving your goals. So I love that. Keep it small. And if you can't reach that goal, just keep trying until you can.
So can I give an insight into that?
Yeah, of course.
So in December, myself and a client decided to take on a challenge, which was 5 kilometers every day on average. Now notice I say on average, because you're going to have some days that fall within that. I'm not perfect, I've messed up, so what? As long as I got it on average over 30 days, that's all that counted. Now, there was several days I had to do 10 kilometers on top of my daily activities because I messed up. But once you're in that mindset, get the average, and you still achieve that goal at the end of the 30 days, it doesn't matter if you have some highs and lows, get the average for it. So that's one way I would like to put that across.
I love that. That's really leaning into what I just said about really your mood and everything. That's a great tip, Tony. Love that. Let's see what Mark said. Mark still is. Tony laid out a plan that accommodated my 2 full-time job, moving, LinkedIn Live, dog walking schedule, best health coach I've ever had. Amazing, Mark, and amazing, Tony. You can make things to work around anyone's lifestyle. I will be reaching out soon because I need some help.
That's the most important. That's the most important element to achieving a goal. It has to fit your lifestyle. And as Mark knows, he's super busy. We've had to refine things to make sure it works for him. And the last thing you want to do is feel so overwhelmed that you give up. It needs to fit your lifestyle, and then have weekly increments of improvements, and then you'll stick at it. So think about the long term. If you have small increments every week and don't try to go too hard, too fast, then you'll achieve the bigger goals in the long run.
Right. Well, that's great. Now, moving on to
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for watching. Moving on to the nutrition piece a little bit. And again, guys, please submit your questions in the chat. We are taking questions. What would you say? How do I want to say this? Well, we're all working from home a lot. So what would you say would be some easy meals, some things you recommend, for those of us who are stuck at home and have gotten bored with cooking and bored with, all this COVID nutrition?
So for me, nutrition's sort of a subject where some other coaches won't agree with the way I put it across. But my idea is sustainability and fitting your lifestyle. So if I put you on a chicken and broccoli diet and you're eating all the required vegetables and all every day, how long are you really going to stick to that?
Right. It's not very long. Not very long.
Okay. So now you're stuck at home, you have a certain selection of food. So the most common problem most people have is they don't eat enough protein. So the idea to make sure you get enough protein in a day is make sure your palm size, not the fingers, just your palm. For ladies, that you're getting at least 4 per day, and guys between 6 and 8 palm sizes of protein. So that could be your meat, your fish, your chicken, your tofu, if it needs to be that, your beef, whatever it might be. You can also add in lentils and Greek yogurts and things like that. But once you increase your protein, that's going to help your body recover quicker, and then everything else can work around that. Okay.
And what are your thoughts on plant-based protein versus, animal protein? I know lately there's been a lot of talk about trying to get more to like a plant-based diet. Any thoughts on that?
Again, that's personal preference. You're always going to find so much evidence that's going to show one thing is better than the other. But I'm a firm believer in understand your own digestion. And once you understand your own digestion, you'll know in yourself, if you analyze yourself for at least 2 weeks, how are your moods, how's your energy? And if you're eating meat and your moods and your energy are okay, then why would you need to change?
That makes sense. Then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
absolutely,
stick with what works for you. I would totally agree. And so much of that has to do with, where you live, what you have access to, what you normally eat, and doing what works for you. So definitely honor that in your fitness journey, guys. Now, in regards to wellness, Tony, just overall wellness, do you have any tips or tricks, anything you do for yourself to keep you running in optimum shape? Maybe supplements, anything additional?
So basically, I have to make sure, as I just talked about, my digestion is optimized. I have a condition where it affects my digestion. My body's full of oxidative stress because of iron overload. So I have to make sure to manage that with the right vitamins and minerals, but it's something that will help most people. So number one, a good multivitamin, especially if you're not getting tons of vegetables and fruits in your diet. Number two is probably vitamin D3. And number three is probiotics. And number four is a digestive enzyme. So if you look after your two brains, this one and your digestion, your gut microbiome, then typically you will be in more of an energetic state, more peak performance, and then you can think clearer to be able to do your daily activities. That's on the nutrition side. The next thing needs to be meditation, to center yourself, to help decrease anxiety and stress. And then exercise, if you do have time for exercise, maybe 15 minutes a day, as little as that, can actually help. And it doesn't need to be anything magical. It can simply be like squats, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, maybe dancing, around the house, get the music on, take a break away from the Zoom calls, whatever it might be. And the exercise will help decrease stress. And then planning is a big thing then, is making sure you plan the most important tasks of your day and at the beginning, because otherwise you will most likely procrastinate and never do them later.
Yes, 100%. That's something I always tell myself. You have to work out in the morning, because by the end of the day, you're just not going to have the energy, and it ends up getting put off for sure. So definitely about setting those priorities. And I love that it doesn't always have to be cardio. I think so many people think that the only kind of exercise is cardio when weight training and resistance training is so important. I believe they recommend you do it at least 2 to 3 times a week, just to maintain your bone health. So
and muscle tissue as well, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And too much cardio is only going to keep the muscles you're using for that cardio, and you lose the rest, which in turn will then lower your metabolic rate, which means you can't eat as many calories to lose weight. So look after your muscle tissue, because you can eat more to lose weight whenever your muscle tissue is more dense. And that's for guys and girls.
Right. No, I love that. And Mark says, men need to stay away from flax.
Yes, estrogen. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Daily meditation and positive thinking, and take fruit and vegetables. Yes, Rajesh, that is very good. Exactly what we're talking about here. So any other questions, guys? We're wrapping it up here. That's all about I had to ask for Tony. So if you guys have any other questions, add them in the chat. Tony, this was absolutely fantastic. Any sort of last thoughts you have for us? Anything you'd like to leave us with for the new year? A lot of us are working from home. I can speak personally that there's so many goals I had for 2020 for my fitness that I was not able to achieve. For me, it was a lot of getting over that mental hump, and just really, I almost fell into a sort of COVID depression for a little bit, being a true extrovert and not being able to interact with people. So I'm really getting back to that space now. So very happy about it. But any last things you'd like to leave us with?
One thing I personally do whenever I have to achieve a new goal. For example, now I'm on 90 days off alcohol. Okay, so I haven't accounted. I'm now being open about it here, so that will make sure I don't break that. And also, I've said to an accountability group I'm in. And I think that's important. If you don't have a coach or a mentor, create an accountability group amongst people that matter, people that are going to push you to become that better version of yourself. And if you don't have accountability, it's too easy to go and hide and become more introverted. The key is have some accountability to reach those goals and really want to do it. Don't throw something out there because you feel you have to. Find something that you want to achieve and then be accountable for it.
I love that. We can all achieve more together, and definitely easier in that team atmosphere. And Tony rocks, so does Jennifer. Thanks so much for tuning in,
Thanks,
Mark. We really do appreciate you guys. Connect with Tony, please, on LinkedIn. Tony, would you like to let them know how to find you about your services and everything?
So if anybody needs a personalized approach to their nutrition, their time planning, or their exercise to help them get in better shape and have more productivity, Tony Scullion Official Just put it in the search bar on LinkedIn and you'll be able to find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tony. Everyone have
Thank you,
a great
Jennifer.
day. Get out there and make it a healthier 2021.
Yoo-hoo, let's go.